Hey everybody, Vaughn here with the Vonster vlog, and welcome to day 122 of a year of yoga. And it's just occurred to me this is going to be the worst spot to do this, but we'll figure it out because I'm under a tree. But okay, give me a sec. So maybe we'll come right here. Yes, that will be a lot better. Hey Ginger. Okay, so super professional mode activated. What we are doing today, it's not yoga, kinda, not really yoga, but it's movement medicine. That's good for us, good for the soul. So we are spinning poi, which if you have never spun poi before, it is so much fun. And all you need really is like a thigh high or like a pair of thigh highs or some like knee high socks or something. In the toe of this one, I have one of those youth tennis balls. They're a little larger. Oh, I just realized I'm wearing a mic, so I don't have to be yelling at the camera. They're a little bit larger than regular tennis balls, and they're much softer. Like you can see, I can squish that with my hand. But I recommend if you have like a regular sock, put like a quarter cup of pinto beans or rice or something into that sock and then roll it up and put it in the toe. Callie, no, baby. That's not for you. Roll it up and stick it into the toe of your long sock, just to give it something heavy at the end, but that's soft enough that it's not going to bother you whenever you bonk yourself with it, because you're gonna bonk yourself. If you've spun poi before and you really, really like it, I really recommend pod poi. These are mine that are like over 10 years old at this point. And so they have long since died. But I tell y'all what, I got my money's worth out of them because this end and this end both lit up. And it's the greatest. And this little like pod cell that it's in, you don't have to get the light up handle. And honestly, next time I probably won't, because I like the little loops that you can put your fingers through. And then I just added some really cute like silk and chiffon veils to them to make them a little bit more fun to play with during the daytime. And those are just right on a little clip, so I can take them off if it's nighttime or I don't want to be having the veils on there, like if it's very windy. So I guess, do I only have the one of these? No, there's the other one. Okay, so today I'm going to be using my sock poi. And what we're going to want to do is to start by just spinning. You can do this inside too. Callie is very interested. She's on the back porch just losing her damn mind. We're just going to spin the poi around. The longer, like if you have a thigh high instead of like just a knee high sock, it's going to be moving slower because the circular making has a much bigger circumference. And as we spin these, we want to make sure, I'm going to change angle here real quick, that we want to be very vertical. We don't want to be coming in like this because that's where our head gets in the way. We just want to be very, very vertical. And if you are intending to be on the diagonal like this, just have it be intentional. But for the most part, it's really nice to be able to get to where you can really control the direction of your poi, like the orientation of it. So we are going to practice just spinning both of our poi as though we are standing in a hall, a narrow hallway, and we want this to be traveling on the plane of the walls next to us. Now, I can't see what I'm doing, so I might be all kinds of wonky and weird, but I just want to experiment. And sometimes folks will be scared. Oh no, I'm going to hit myself. It's really not that bad. Like, getting punched in the face is literally my least favorite thing. And at the absolute worst, this is like a mild, like a little whop in the nose. Callie! And also, whenever we're spinning from behind, so coming up and over, you're a lot less likely to hit yourself in the face because it'll just bop you in the back of the head. But if you're scared of it, just bonk yourself a few times, like get an idea of like, okay, that's how that's going to feel. But if you don't give enough momentum to the ball at the end of the string, so to speak, that's whenever you're going to get like kind of floppy and weird. Go ahead and give it some good solid momentum, because in physics, so long as nothing interferes with this, it's not going to hit you unless you interject yourself or like you bounce it off of something. But just the trajectory of this is going to keep doing what it's doing. So let's practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can have our arms out. And we can bring our elbows in. Now the wind really makes it a little bit more complicated. And now let's practice going the other direction, coming up from below. And I'm going to continue doing this way. And so I'm really putting that swing on getting it to come up and over. And while we do this, we can practice looking in different directions. And it's just like when you're learning to drive and you don't want your, if you look to the left, you don't want to be turning to the left. You just want to look, but still be independent. So now if we have the hang of spinning off to the side of our body, let's just work with one arm here. Practice stepping into it. So now suddenly you have an airplane propeller in front of you. So if we start like this and then we turn, now we have an airplane propeller. And we can practice this in both directions with both hands. And it's just a really nice kind of like changing, just orientation can really change the feel and look of the movement. And then we can even practice turning. Now to turn, right now I'm palm up. To turn, I'll be going palm down and then palm up. So it's like underhand, kind of. Or you can just kind of twist yourself around, but don't be afraid to like experiment with your hand positioning from palm up to palm down to just kind of get a feel for how that affects your motion and your control. Once we've practiced that a little bit, right now we're moving both of our poi at the same time. Let's try alternating it, almost like we're swimming. So passing one arm and then the other. And now let's practice that from below. So I like to start it, they're both going at the same time, and then we alternate. Ooh, catching on the tree, so I'm going to step forward. And this is one of my favorite movements to do intentionally on the diagonal. So I like to swing it up from below. So let's start with coming up from below on the same beat. Now let's do an alternate beat. Let's actually just practice swapping below that, or between those two. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same beat. And now alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the same beat. I kind of just like, whoa, try to swing the other one in to catch it up. Let's try that in the other direction. Now, the one downside that you'll experience with sock poi is they will keep getting this twist in them. So, like if you spin 8 times in one direction, you almost need to spin 8 times in the opposite direction to kind of counterbalance that. Now, that's something that comes in with different poi, that if you get some that have this really cool swivel in their handle, either attaching to a handle or to finger loops, this way you can spin indefinitely in whatever direction you want, which is so much fun. Now the only thing is these guys aren't as long as my other poi, so they move a little bit faster, but that's okay. I could always go in and lengthen them, but I'm not worried about it right now. So we're going to spin 2, 3, 4, alternate. And now as we alternate, we can bring it into the diagonal and almost be doing it over our head. So I was getting ahead of myself. We can bring it in over our head, and we could start adding in some other little swirls and things. We can change the direction that our poi is going. we can change the way that we're going inside of our poi. And there's just, the possibilities are endless, you guys. If you want more videos on this, let me know, and we'll see what we can do about maybe just jamming or breaking down specific movements. I'm very rusty on poi, and quite frankly, it was never my like, I only performed poi a few times. I mostly just performed like hoop dancing and stuff whenever we were doing things. So, but it was my second flow prop of choice, with hoops being my first. But I'm really interested into getting back into it, and it's so darn fun. So we talked about having an airplane propeller. Let's now think about having a helicopter propeller. And this is another one that a lot of folks, whenever we would teach poi, whenever we were traveling the convention circuit, folks would be like, oh no, it's going to hit me. And it's like, again, so long as you give it that good, like, lassoing momentum, it's not going to bop you in the noggin. And whenever I come out of this, when the poi is coming to the front of me, like boom, right there in front of me, I just bring it down. So if you're up here and you're like, oh my God, how do I exit? Just bring it down whenever it comes to the front. When it's spinning around you, just bring it down to the ground. So that can be something to kind of practice as well. So we're going to try our helicopter propeller with a very straight arm at first to really get that isolation. This is something that I really recommend the swivel for on your poi. I will have some poi linked down in the video description below. I know I said that about the hoop one, and then I didn't do it. I have updated that. So there should be a link to the hoop now, but some really great beginner poi, I think. So if you're not sure if you're going to like it or not, they're a lot of fun, and they're a great base prop to then add your own silks and stuff to. So let's try with the other arm now. And especially when you have veils on it, it really forces you to go big and make space for yourself and the veil to exist. Don't forget to breathe. We could be practicing balance postures here. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Okay, now we got to do it on the other side. Just lifting our opposite knee up. That's really cool, you guys. I like that. So now that we've done a helicopter over our head, in that motion that we had talked about where you bring it down and in front of you, let's keep that spin going and spin it kind of down low. And you can be bent quite over for this to really make space, again, for the poi to travel. And then we can alternate and do this little bit of a beautiful and fun corkscrew. So we're spinning above our head, and I'm coming from the right to the left. So if you're looking from below, I guess technically that's clockwise, but perspective's a heck of a thing. So just, if it's in your right hand, we're swinging around towards the left, across the front to the left. And then we come down, and suddenly it's going in the other direction. So there is that kind of alternation of the movement, and just spin it in front of us and then around our head. And you can do this same thing vertically. And what I always tell folks is just pretend like you're a kid and you're pretending that you have nunchucks or something. Just be like, hoo-ah! And then start doing that motion. And that is that motion. So like, if you've ever watched any Jackie Chan movie ever, or anything where they're using, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or, anybody who's using nunchucks, just, get that vibe going, and it'll get you where you're going with doing this motion on the vertical. And it's the same, technically the same flow path, like if we just took what we're doing vertically and shifted it to a horizontal plane, it's the same path. So we'll be doing that. And this is fantastic exercise for your arms, y'all. Especially if you got like some good tunes going, so it keeps you from slowing down because you're trying to keep up with the beat. Let's do that same thing on the other side. 9 and 10. And now we can change direction. That's something we can take a little bit of a chill break and just practice changing direction. So if we're spinning over our head, just wrap around your body and kind of bounce it back. So it's bonked me, and then I just spin it around the other way. So you could almost just hold the base of your poi in one side and just alternate from side to side. Get used to kind of bonking yourself with your poi. It's just like an eraser in art. Bonking yourself with the poi is a tool that you can use in your creative selection of paints, so to speak, in your creative artist's box. And just, we can do it with both if we really want to practice building that up. But this gives us an opportunity that will bring us into, we can bop, change directions, and just do that spin in front of us. Bop, change directions, bop, change directions, bop. And you can sometimes get your elbow involved a little bit, like especially if I want it to like pick up the pace, you shorten the fulcrum and it makes it suddenly, just like how a long poi would go nice and slow, a short one is going to go real fast. So if you bop and then bop and lift your arm, it can help kind of swing that up and around. So we can also, as we alternate, bringing our poi forward, we can start alternating them and bringing them so that they're both propellers in front of us. And you just need to make sure that they're taking turns, and that if you're spinning with veils on, that you're giving yourself enough space. That wind will knock it right into your face. So just so you can see from the other direction, and I don't bonk myself, this is how it's looking from the back side. And we can do this in opposite directions as well. I actually prefer coming up from the outside into the center on this one. So spinning to where it comes up from the middle. And this one's a ton of fun. And again, you can put it into the diagonal and bring it over your head. I keep trying to make my arms great big. I'm used to practicing inside, so being able to put my arms to their full extension and really use every bit of space in this wide world is a wonderful kind of thing to do. So I think that's going to be it for today. I have a mountain of work waiting on me inside, but I just wanted to come out and play with y'all a bit. Let me know what you think down in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this, or even to see this incorporated just into our regular yoga practice from time to time. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, and until then, you guys keep on keeping on. Mwah. Bye.